Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
You know, the 49ers have certain players that they just fall in love with from the start. And Colton McKivitz is one of those. That's number 17 on our list. That's who we're going to be focused on today. They loved him from the start. You remember, if you go back to before that draft in 2020, this is fresh off the Super Bowl loss. Joe Staley retired a week before the draft. We had no answer. Well, the 49ers had Colton McKivitz as their gold helmet guy, the demarcation that they used to leader, perfect fit, perfect tape, perfect off the field, scheme fit, everything, leadership, intelligence, whatever, everything, right? They had it on Colton McKivitz, and they were going to draft him in the third round. This is what they said. This is John Lynch. We were going to take him in the third. But then they traded for Trent Williams with that third-round pick, and thankfully, Colton McKivitz was still there in the fifth round. Now, I know somebody just was listening going, thankfully, you sure? Colton McKivitz is a good player. Is he Joe Staley, Trent Williams, a top 20 tackle in the NFL? He's not even close. But this is somebody that is above that line, right? You've heard Chris Forster. I'm not going to replay the clip today in this show. Where if we get linemen that are above this line, then we could be just fine. And that's kind of what Colton McKivitz is. Now, somebody's listening could have had so-and-so, fill in the blank, right? Go on throughout the whole draft and could have had this player or that player. I get it. But you're not paying for that level of play. You're basically getting Mike McGlinchey play at the right tackle spot for a fourth of the cap hit. A fourth, maybe even a little less. It's actually closer to a fifth. That's what Colton McKivitz is. And so he fits this 49ers group. Comes in number 17 on our list this year. Now, he's bounced all over the place. He was number 32 back in 2022. Then in 2023, he was number 12. That's the highest he's been. His play increased, but not to where we wanted it. He comes in number 17. Shout out to my man Josh, executive producer of our show. And on our 4 ballots, 1 through 91 this year, he finished 16th and 22, and everywhere in between there. So that's his highest was 16th, lowest was 22, comes in 17. Where's jersey number 68? Tall, 6'6", 300, short arms, 33 and 3/4 inch arms, just turned this week, actually, 28 years old. So you still got him for a while. He's under contract for this year, next year. Ran a 5.3 40. He kind of is a little bit different than Joe Staley, Mike McGlinchey, Trent Williams, in the fact that he doesn't have the blazing speed. He just gets the job done. That's kind of his thing. And I know the lowest point of what a lot of people remember when you think Colton McKivitz is the Super Bowl, that's wrong. That was not Colton McKivitz's fault. That Chris Jones run in unchecked, that was Spencer Burford's fault, went the wrong way. I know the announcers and the film, whenever you're watching the broadcast view, seems like it is, but it's not. It was not his issue. And he's going into his 5th season. Now, he's an Ohio dude, went to East Richland Christian High School, the Lions, before transferring to Union Local High School, the Jets. He's a country boy, went to West Virginia, and his post-grad was bachelor's. He got a bachelor's in wildlife and fishery resources, and then just kept studying in West Virginia. He's a fishing guy. If you want to ask Colton McKivitz something to ask about fishing, he'll tell you all the way back from when he was 3, catching bluegills, to what he does now. And he was a big deal in Ohio. They retired his jersey at his high school back in 2019. Goes on to the Big 12 and was incredible there. He was what's it called? Here we go. 4-year basketball player, all-state honors in basketball. Like this dude, he could play. He was a Big 12 commissioner's honor roll all the time, all over the place. So then he gets signed by the 49ers, and that's kind of where I want to jump to now. They wanted him in the 3rd round, but they traded that pick in a future 5th for Trent Williams, one of the best trades in NFL history. Then they cut him. They cut Colton McKivitz about a year later just wasn't there, but he came back with a vengeance and kind of proved what the Niners wanted him to be. Now I'm going to play you a clip from John and Kyle talking about Colton McKivitz, and this is a year after he was starting. So this was heading into the 2023 season.
Very much so. We believe in Colton. I'll let Kyle talk a little bit about Colton as a player, but Colton, the gold helmet is a hard standard up there. We give it to very few people. Colton was one of those when he came out of West Virginia. I think when he got here, we didn't necessarily see that all the time because he was shy. He kind of took him a little while, but I think over time, as his confidence grew, you started to see all those traits and qualities, the spirit, as we call it, really start to show. And then Colton's sneaky talented as well, and we like him a lot as a player. Kyle, you go ahead and talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, just getting an lineman ready to start in this league is really tough, especially how different playing in the league is in college, and the lack of preparation we get with how OTAs are this year, how much shorter training camp is. But you can win with Colton. He's been here for a while. When he has played, we have won games with him. Did a hell of a job last year helping us, or 2 years ago, getting into the playoffs when he had to start unexpectedly versus the Rams in 2017, I think. But I mean, I look at Colton very similar to how Jake was last year. I mean, we felt very good about Jake, but you never know until they get out there a ton. And you look in the draft to add depth, and you always want to, if there's someone there that falls in that you think can beat out your starter, that's a good pick. But it's not easy to find a guy at pick 99 or later who can beat out Colton McKivitz, just like you don't just find anyone for Jake Brendel last year. So when you have guys who played and you practice with a lot and you have an idea about them, I get how not everyone else knows about them as much because they haven't seen them, but I mean, we were going to that draft hoping to find depth and hoping to find some competition, but to go into that draft and to think you're going to find someone to start over someone like Colton, or as good as Colton can be and has been, would be very unusual.
The phrase, we can win with Colton, I think that is the most accurate understanding, and I don't think Kyle meant it as an insult, and I sure as hell don't either. There are 64 starting tackles in the NFL. 64. Is he one of the top 64 tackles? Yeah, I think so. And whatever you're paying him at about that rate, you're getting what you pay for. The tackle position, offensive tackle position, is the most devoid of talent in the NFL of all positions. There are stud wide receivers, 1, 2, 3 on so many teams. Centers, guards, quarterback, like the offensive tackle position, there's about 20 guys, and then there's a cliff. There's a cliff. But regardless if there's only 20 guys, 64 start every single week in the NFL. He is one of those 64. So is he how you dream it up? Is he how you draw it? No. He was a 5th-round pick. But you are getting quality play there. Now, what's fun is we got that pick in another trade where we traded Matt Breida to Miami. It seems like it's where we trade all of our running backs, Matt Breida, Jeff Wilson. They even took Salvin Ahmed. They got, Mostert. Obviously, it's the same system, so it makes sense. But we traded Matt Breida to the Dolphins and got this 5th-round pick in return. Huge trade. Now we got Matt Breida back on the roster anyway. But I really do. And let's look at, let's dive into the analytics. And let's see what he did last year. He played over 1,040 snaps. He played 1,014 at right tackle, 26 at left tackle. He had 2 penalties. That's incredible. 9 sacks allowed. That's not good. That's the bad. 4 quarterback hits, 47 pressures. PFF grades last year, 65.1 overall. That's average O-line play. That's what you want. 56.4 pass blocking, not what you want. 68.1 run blocking, solid. So, and what's crazy is he stepped up in pass blocking in the postseason at 65.9 grade, almost 10 points higher than what he did in the regular season. So, look, is he going to be on the Pro Bowl? No, that's not taking place. But this is somebody that's going to be playing for the 49ers for at least 2 years. Maybe somebody can eventually step up and pass him, but I don't think that's on the roster currently. He signed a 2-year deal right before this offseason to basically guarantee he's going to be the starter for this year, next year. His career earnings $7.9 million. It's not like this dude is taking a whole bunch of money and cap or what. No, you're paying bottom tier starting tackle play, and that's exactly what you're getting. That's what you're getting. And the 49ers are okay with that because the offensive scheme that Shanahan runs is very O-line friendly. So you can kind of cover up some of those things. Now, you're hoping, and I will say this, I think Colton McKivitz has had a great camp. I really, really do. Now he's going to have his work cut out for him because whenever you're playing opposite Trent Williams, when teams game plan, do you think they're going to send their stud pass rusher at Trent Williams? They will not. They say, let's go after this other guy. So Colton McKivitz, he gets kind of the brunt, the best of each team. Jets, great pass rush team. We'll see what happens with Hassan Reddick. But, yeah, he's going to go against the best of the best every single week. It's what it is. He's got a difficult job. But the continuity, and now that he started 22 games in his career, 17 last season. That was his first full year as a starter. Played in 45 games. That's huge. I hope he has a better year. And if you ask me right now, okay, John, you could sign up for exactly what Colton McKivitz did last year. I'm signing up. You give me that every single game. He plays the entire season. Sign me up right now. I'm taking it. Because of how elite the 49ers are everywhere else on offense. You just need adequate play. That line, right, that Chris Forster's talked about. You just give me just a little bit at that line or above that line, and we're going to be okay. Below that line, now we got some serious issues. Colton McKivitz, right at that line. So you give me that with just a sprinkle of improvement, Niners offense is going to be rolling. I truly believe that. So Colton McKivitz, number 17, probably not, the dream pick at tackle, but it fits and allows us to have studs everywhere else. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.